All right. So, welcome everyone to the Walls with Eyes podcast, episode 1, where we always go full eyeballs to the wall. So, I welcome today my guest, David. He is a my friend that I've known him since middle school. We kind of grew up just like doing all kinds of cool stuff, like making videos and
Setting each other on fire on
yep,
accident.
yeah. Yep, all that crazy teenager stuff. Yep. But now we're growing up and we're trying to get our lives together and we're trying to
Sort out the world.
yep with our ideas about the things that are going on in the world. So I kind of wanted to that's what we like to talk about a lot. And let's see, we were going to start talking about like let's see, TikTok. We talked about that in our earlier conversation. Um, let's see. Jordan Peterson. What were we talking about Jordan Peterson the
Oh,
other day? Do you remember? Like we kind of started talking about you brought some.
well, there's what's going on right now what just sort of happened where
Oh yeah, how
they're
they're trying to
trying to
take away his license.
reprogram him
Yeah,
if
that's
he
the
doesn't go to, what is it called? Oh, what did
like
they call it?
they literally called it like social media re-education
Yeah,
program. Yeah.
social media re-education. Oh,
Yeah, like
is that's the most terrifying term I've ever heard.
I know, like it's so like I don't
It's
even.
literally
It's like
just a longer version of
1984.
brainwash. It's
Yeah,
so
seriously.
terrifying, dude.
I know, and the fact that like I just what's great though is that knowing Jordan Peterson, like there's no way he's gonna
Yeah.
you know bow down to them.
If
He's
that
gonna.
actually happens to Jordan Peterson, the world would just be over.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I would just that would be a sign of the end times. Like I mean, we already have tons of signs of the end times, but no, I think hopefully that it'll actually be like a wake up call to a lot of people. Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
we can't just be, or no,
They're
it's
literally
probably not
trying to
though.
brainwash us.
Yeah. But so many
It's time
people
to,
are just on board with it. It's just kind of like
yeah, true.
scary. You don't know if like, because like I could see a lot of people like seeing, and I've seen on Twitter, of course, because that's where they all kind of,
Congregate, yeah.
yeah, uh, they would say like, oh, what's the big deal? Like,
It's just
he's,
brainwashing.
yeah, and considering all the ridiculous things he said, like about that one lady, like
Bro,
on
they always
Sports
bring up the
Illustrated.
lobsters
Oh yeah, that's so.
and
I mean,
cleaner.
his point about lobsters is so good though too. Like, how can
Yeah, it
they
really is. It's the same thing with clean your room, but they just hear like they're just so desperate to
grab on?
avoid the reality of it.
Yeah, and they'll grab onto anything that like just sounds ridiculous right off the bat. Like
Yeah.
lobsters sounds ridiculous right off the bat. Like, oh, he's
Yeah.
obsessed with lobsters. That's so ridiculous and absurd. But if you like, but only like it only sounds like that
On the
at face
surface.
value. Yeah. But
Yeah.
what he's actually talking about is how deeply rooted like our like hierarchies are in like the way mammals live and interact with each other, how like
Yeah.
lobsters like would get bullied and then get depressed and then like rise up out of their like the fact that that's even in lobsters shows that like because I feel like that's
They're
almost
not far off from us.
yeah, and that's what the left kind of it seems like that pattern is
They
something
want
they're
to,
trying to get rid of.
yeah, they
It's
want
the
to
pattern
deny
of
the reality of nature.
yeah, exactly. Like parts or underlying
Men
patterns
and
in
women are
nature.
socially constructed. They're not real.
Yeah.
It's not, your gender isn't real. Men aren't stronger than women.
Oh man, I even saw it. it was like a trans power power lifter, or yeah, or I don't know if it was a
Oh,
trans.
the one that absolutely obliterated the woman's record.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not sure if it was the same guy, but I know that it was a trans
There's been a few.
athlete power lifter. I think it was a power lifter talking about how he was like confused about why women are so bad at the sport. Like it was ridiculous. Like it so you see like it's a guy, saying I am a woman, and he's saying like, the like I really don't
It's
understand
like
what
women
these
are
women's
fucking
problem
weak,
are.
bro.
Yeah, why are they so he was saying they have these little T-Rex arms. Like he was like basically kind of like denigrating them. Like it's just so weird how like I don't know how
It's
detached you can be.
horrible.
Like he's acting like it's just their choice basically. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of ridiculous,
Yeah,
but
why are women choosing to be so weak? It's almost like they're born with less muscle mass and bone density than men. So
right?
strange.
How like it, and the fact that that's what oh we're on the side of science. Like yeah.
Oh, it's someone I watched a video where a lady sort of made the comparison of 9 out of 10 dentists recommend every single toothpaste.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, that's because you're supposed to use toothpaste. It doesn't matter what toothpaste it is, just fucking use it.
Yeah.
Of course, 9 out of 10 dentists are going to want you to use toothpaste.
Yeah.
It's
There's
so
always gonna be that
ridiculous.
one the one dentist that's like, no, don't use toothpaste. What's with that? Like I guess that's the liver queen, the liver king's wife, apparently. She's a dentist. Did you know the liver king, right? You've heard of
Yeah,
him?
yeah. The guy who finally came out as using steroids or whatever, right?
Yep. Yep.
I
Yeah,
was
but
I was sort of rooting for him at first. I was like, nah,
well,
nah. I wanted to believe, but
I know I did too, and I kind of liked that idea of like, oh, what if he is natural and he just got that way from liver? But
yeah,
now seeing the truth, it's like, oh man, he shouldn't have lied about it. But
yeah.
but weirdly enough, though, I'm still kind of on his side in a weird way, even after and with all
I
these,
can understand how it's hard to like
because
come to
like
terms with that.
his whole message and everything still stands, right? Like liver
Yeah.
is super healthy. It's like, and he's kind of like a polar like opposite figure of like the vegans, I guess, in a way, like
Yeah.
he just kind of makes them look stupid. He just did I've been watching his Instagram stories recently, and he's been on like a 5-day fast, 5-day water fast,
Oh,
and
what?
yeah, and
That's
10 days
crazy.
10 days natty too. So he's off steroids and fasting, and he just broke his fast, I think, yesterday. 5-day fast. Yeah, like pretty, and he already looks pretty different too. Like he looks skinnier, and
Oh, I'm sure he's not all juiced up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's probably, I don't know, it seems like he's actually, trying to still do
Prove it
what's right
legitimately.
after all of that, after the whole
Yeah.
controversy. The fact that he's actually quitting steroids now, that I feel like that's, if
He probably wanted to for a long time, but
yeah,
he was
and
afraid that
maybe
it
this
would.
is the breaking point moment,
Yeah.
like where he finally does it. And yeah, yeah, I mean it's, but what was I gonna say about him? Oh yeah, his wife. That's how I
Oh,
brought
right.
it
Yeah,
up.
the dentist. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a dentist, and she uh doesn't use toothpaste, I think they both have said that they don't use toothpaste, like they just brush their teeth with water. And the same thing with like shower. They say they only
Yeah.
shower with water. It's like, I guess, I don't know, I guess that's more primal, you could say. So the
I have
carnivore.
actually heard of there is actually people who benefit from showering with only water.
Yeah,
Specifically like cold water
like
because
people
it
with like eczema and stuff.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
eczema and like dandruff and stuff like
yeah,
that.
and that honestly
Plus
makes sense.
ice
Oh
bathing in
yeah, yeah.
general can be pretty
That's
good for
actually
you.
that's one of my topics, bro. I wrote it down in my topics. I wanted
Hell
to talk
yeah.
about ice baths with you.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah. I've been seeing a lot of people do it. Like Joe Rogan,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
even some of his friends
I
like
want to see
Bert.
Jordan Peterson do it. That'd be epic.
Oh, dude, that would be epic. I'm pretty sure he has done it. I saw him do a conversation with Wim Hof.
Yeah.
He was kind of the guy that like got ice baths really big, and yeah, in the conversation,
Oh yeah,
Wim
this
Hof
guy.
was like, it was not long after he recovered from his whole illness, like when they were having this conversation, like that kind of
Right.
period where he was like still kind of like recovering.
Oh, Jordan? When it
Yeah,
from his the withdrawal or whatever?
yeah. Like remember when he first came back? Like
Yeah.
the
Oh
first video
man.
he made, dude, he looked
He
so
looked
different.
yeah, he looked horrible. It was terrifying.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
looked
but
absolutely destroyed.
I know. And,
He's
and
made
I,
a decent comeback though.
yeah, totally. I was like afraid that like, he was just gonna like not recover, but he
Yeah.
definitely has seemed to recover. It's crazy. He kind of went right back to the person he was before that. Like it's
But a little
kind
more
of
aggressive.
amazing. Yeah.
He's become a little more aggressive, which is a good thing considering what's going on.
Yeah. Considering what he went through too. Like
Fucking
he's like,
yeah, with being separated from his wife and
yep. He's like, I'm tired of this
everything with his daughter.
now. Yeah.
His daughter turned into a bit of a rebel.
Oh yeah. Wait, his daughter is?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's cleared up now, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
she went through a pretty intense rebel stage as far as I'm aware.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think even during the time that he was ill, there's some weird stuff going on. Apparently, she actually, man, this is a weird one, but apparently she got with Andrew Tate. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
There's
I
actually,
guess that's not surprising.
I know, but it was before Andrew Tate even was like big. Like he was just some random guy.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, I remember actually seeing. I was like reading this like weird Reddit thread that was kind of like it was like calling out Michaela Peterson in a way. It was like trying to like make a case for her being a bad person or something. Like,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
those Reddit posts where they just kind of like draw all these connections together and like this is
Yeah.
why they're a terrible
The
person.
whataboutism.
Yeah. Which is like, I mean, I guess it does expose people, but it's like, I don't know. It's kind of weird in my opinion. But
It can go both ways.
yeah, exactly. Like it on one hand, it is just the truth. On the other
Yeah.
hand, it's like
It's
gossip.
told in a way that
Yeah,
makes it
exactly.
seem worse than it really is.
Yeah, yeah, it's gossip. That's exactly what gossip is. I think that's why I
Classic
like.
hit case.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But anyways, I saw in that post, it was like during the time, it was like she was in Russia or something, and there was just a picture of her with this guy, and at the time, I just thought it was like a weird picture because it's like this bit like this buff bald guy just like looks all like like Andrew Tate looks just like that
Yeah.
millionaire like I'm the best kind of, and he's with Michaela Peterson. It just was a weird looking picture. I don't know how to
I
describe it.
guess to be
Like
fair, Jordan and Peterson seem to sort of have some connection before he got big too. So
yeah, they did apparently. They actually like talked. They knew each other. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, but it's so
which
weird
is
that
not surprising with them sort of pushing a similar
similar thing. Yeah, like
yeah.
masculinity and
Andrew
yeah,
Tate
that's true.
has gone a little off a couple times, but
Yeah, yeah. There's it's weird. There's times where I see him go off, but then that times where I see him like redeem himself by being
yeah,
like, especially in these like more like comedy focused videos. I feel like where he kind of it
definitely.
isn't as serious. You know, like he shows that he's really not like what people are portraying him as. Like he's
Yeah.
actually just a regular guy.
He's not some evil woman-hating
Yep.
monster man that wants to enslave women and
Yeah.
destroy their lives.
Yeah, exactly. Like just he actually has a lot of
Really valuable advice.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But
And the way that he's made Piers Morgan into someone that I can agree with
oh
is
dude. Well,
mind-boggling.
yeah, I was already even before the Andrew Tate interview with Pierce Morgan, I was starting to see Pierce Morgan was becoming more of like balanced, I guess, just not like a huge
Yeah.
leftist like he was before. Like he's actually,
Yeah, he used to be such an ignorant
oh yeah,
fucking twat.
I know, seriously. Like his whole thing with like Ben Shapiro, with like
Yeah.
the guns and like, oh
Yeah,
how
especially with
dare you, Ben?
yeah.
How dare you come on my show
He's so
and
fucking
tell me?
dramatic.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was such a like performance, but now it's like, yeah, he just
You realize that he himself has had a big hand in pushing this
yeah, and
mass delusion.
he's having like a Pinocchio moment. He's
Yeah,
becoming a
exactly.
real boy, which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so crazy to see.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually respect Piers Morgan to an extent now.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Especially I mean he was willing to interview Kanye West and yeah, like
He
pretty
realizes
awesome.
that the people who the media demonize are usually the people who are actually telling the fucking truth. That's
Yep.
why they're being demonized.
Yep. Yep. And it's crazy that Piers Morgan is actually still he still kind of adopts that like persona of the like
Leftist psycho.
news host, like
Yeah.
he works for the media type guy, like,
Oh yeah.
and yet he's still, I don't know how he even gets away with it, honestly.
Yeah, for so long.
Seems like, yeah, they would have
But Andrew
just,
Tate really straightened him out.
oh, I have actually haven't even watched the full Andrew Tate thing. I've just seen
Yeah.
clips from it. Have you watched
Yeah,
the
me
whole thing?
too. I've only
Oh,
seen
just the
clips.
clips.
But
I
but
I
just from those clips and seeing clips after those clips, his whole demeanor has changed so much.
Man,
He kind of looks like he kind of has like a really kind of like that like manly sadness, that like really deep kind of stoic manly sadness.
yeah, yeah, I know
He
what
has
you mean.
that sort of look on his face a lot, at
Yeah,
least now.
yeah, I've seen that in that show, The Chosen. That just reminds me of that expression you're describing.
Yeah.
The show The Chosen. Uh,
Yeah,
it's like,
I gotta look it up.
yeah, it's like that show. It's like completely free to
Oh
watch. Yeah,
yeah. I was
yeah,
gonna watch this.
dude, it's good. You should totally watch it. It's
It
really
looked
good.
really good.
Yeah, but the guy that plays Jesus, he has that expression a lot. That like
That sort of
sad
like
care. He like cares so much about goodness. Like
about
you could just
yeah.
see it like in his, I don't know, he's really good at portraying Jesus for sure. But
His soul kind of reflects in his eyes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
It's like he has the eyes of a man who's been through uh the trials of Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you reminded me of this because now I can remember
Yeah,
to go
dude.
watch it.
You should totally watch it. I'm on like I think I just got season 3 now. And yeah, the show's
Season
completely,
3? I didn't know it was that long.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, that
I thought it was like 4 episodes.
it was for a while actually, because the whole
Oh.
show is crowdfunded. It's not
Oh,
backed
really?
by anything. Yeah, they're completely nonprofit. The show's completely free to watch on their app.
Wow, these ratings on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know, right? It's
Considering that those sites tend to kind of push or kind of, linger around the woke.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is impressive.
yeah, for sure. Because, well, I guess they gotta still recognize good like cinematography and stuff when they see it because it
Yeah.
honestly like just on a basic like show movie level like it's high quality like you can't really deny like the actors are really good the yeah like I said the cinematography the music just like everything kind of works together really well especially for a Christian show because Christian shows I'm sure as you know they're usually like pretty corny and like
Yeah.
B
Especially in
flick
modern
vibes
days.
yeah totally they're just like they're usually not really good but the
Usually kind
chosen
of
is
comes off more mocking than like
mm, yeah
genuine.
yeah it definitely does actually it's like they're trying to turn it in where it feels like they're trying to turn it into entertainment which
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest that's the one thing about the chosen that I can't deny that I get that vibe sometimes from it like where it's like just trying to entertain you but
Yeah.
there's also you could tell at the core and everyone working on it is deeply like true Christians like they're not just fake they know
Yeah,
what
they
they
actually
believe
care about the story they're telling.
yeah exactly and they know what the message is and they know
That's what most media is missing nowadays.
yeah
Is a and it's just this copy paste horrible like boring nonsense that they just pump out for money. They don't even care about the projects they're trying to
oh
portray.
yeah yeah with like streaming like
Yeah. It's
I feel like
just
that's a big
so
part of it
sad.
did you see that video that DreamWorks came out with, where it's like they're showing all the different characters. It's like I don't know how to describe it. A lot of YouTube channels are making videos about why people really didn't like it. Like it was like a video kind
Do you
of
mean
showing. It was
sh
showing
the
like Shrek.
strange things or whatever?
The what?
Dream
Oh
Dream
oh! I know what show. No no, it's not. Well, that's an interesting topic though we could get into, but because it's kind of funny how that completely flopped when
Yeah. It's just another case of like what I was saying where they don't actually give a shit. They just want to pump something out to like
to just make profit just
yeah,
like
make profit and push the mass illusion.
yeah and yeah part of the mass illusion is that it makes you more consumerist like in a
Yeah.
way like you know what I mean like
Yeah, they
the
make you
whole
believe all this nonsense and then they sell it to you.
yeah like they like things like wanting to make men weak like
Yeah. They just
they
want us to buy feminine products.
yeah exactly they promote products that do that have that exact effect I mean do you see the whole like the Eminem going woke thing. It's like they had
Oh
all
no.
female M&Ms, bro. Come on.
Oh yeah, I did.
All
I did see
yeah,
that.
that's so ridiculous. Like that's such a just like cuz the
They're just
people
grasping at straws at this point.
I
It's
know
so
and the people
stupid.
that are woke are usually like anti-capitalist, anti-consumer,
Yeah.
but it's like
As long as you're woke, it's totally fine.
yeah, it's just like look at like what's happening. Like I don't know, I would kind of like to have a conversation with someone on that side about this kind of stuff. Like what would the average leftist think of that whole uh woke Eminem female M&Ms only thing? Would they actually find it like do they see the kind of mocking in that of how it's like kind of just oh buy our product because we support your woke beliefs like how that's
Yeah.
kind of like deceptive like if they do see that, maybe that's like a potential bridge, like where we could be like, yeah, okay, like we agree that like capitalism is bad in that way, and we
Yeah.
can agree on that, and so it doesn't feel like this terrible like polar
Well, I don't think it's necessarily
opposite.
capitalism. I think it's the advertising companies themselves that are the real problem.
Oh yeah.
Like we don't have any real restrictions on um what's the word? Like misleading ads.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
sort of do, but they're
Yeah.
so flimsy and no one gives a shit about them because they'd rather just be like, "Oh, it's because of capitalism."
Yeah.
They don't want to blame themselves for not only falling for misleading ads, but not protesting them more.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's why we kind of have to, I don't
And
know.
now there's stuff like
I
targeted
guess,
adding where they basically watch everything you do and then
oh
shove
yeah,
ads in
yeah.
your face.
Yeah. Just like give you all the ads based on what you watch and what you like. They're kind of like
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like letting
They
the
weaponize all
technology,
this information. It's disgusting.
yeah. Because it's like say if someone has like a proclivity in one direction, like
Yeah, towards like
there's
alcohol. They're like, oh,
yeah,
well, here's all this alcohol advertising.
exactly.
Good luck getting clean, bucko.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
That's a perfect point. And that's how that shows how the AI systems that are the algorithms, they don't
yeah.
have a moral compass. Like,
And neither do the people using them.
oh yeah. Yeah. That's what well, see the okay, this is a deep thing right here. That like this is the problem with technology and um the system. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it.
I guess in a way, technology kind of has the same weakness that socialism has, where if the people creating and using it are morally corrupt, it just completely, what's a word
Makes
that's
it
not
fall apart.
the
Like
F word that I can use? Fricks everything over.
yeah, it like it founds it upon sand. It's like something founded upon sand, like what Jesus says.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those who found their, I don't even remember what he said, but he said whoever founds uh their structure on me, like it is like
Mm.
founding it on a rock, and founding it on yourself or your desires is like founding it on sand, I guess. Like it just falls
Yeah,
apart.
okay. I
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Jesus is already Jesus basically provides you with all the moral understanding that you need to be a good person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you build that relationship with him and you build that moral compass for yourself using him as like a guide.
Like as a lens to
Yeah,
look
lens,
at the
yeah.
world through. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus colored glasses, if you will.
Yeah. No, yeah, it really is cool how there's that kind of
And yeah, I actually used to be on the side of some of what my family is on, where they're very like anti-Christian because I
mhm.
used to see, well, actually because I just used to hear a lot about how, or it's a cult. It's they just use it to make money. They kill people. They they let people have cancer, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
then when
know
I
what you
actually
mean.
started like paying attention to how a lot of the things that most people hate are actually misunderstood and good, and I
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
looking more into the Bible, I did like an entire 1080 on it.
That's awesome, dude. That's yeah. That well, and I also when you said like the things that they said, like or that they would
Yeah.
say, uh like, oh, they're just doing it for money.
Yeah.
It's like
And
what comes to
control and
yeah.
power.
Sadly though, what comes to my mind is real people like Joel Olstein,
Yes,
false
for real.
prophets they're
Yeah,
real. I'm not going to deny they're definitely out
yeah.
there. The
And they make such a mockery of Christianity.
Yeah, they're
It's such a
honestly
problem.
they're the probably one of the, if not the biggest enemy to Christianity is the wolves in sheep's clothing,
It's
because
literally
they're,
just the devil in a
yeah,
suit.
devil in disguise, yeah, and they're, yeah, it's like they're on the inside infiltrating and making it appear as if it's something that it's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And then he
definitely the
convinces
worst.
people to sort of worship him rather than worship God,
Yeah, to go their own.
which becomes even more of a problem.
Yeah, 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 that's definitely
I just wish people would pay more attention to the things they're listening to
right. Like, man,
and being
it's so
told.
blatant nowadays too.
There's not enough
Like,
people thinking for themselves.
yeah. I mean, it's even like, I don't know, maybe it's a dumb example, but like that song that was so popular on TikTok, the Stranger Things song. If I only could, I'd make a deal with God
Oh
and I'd
yeah.
get him to swap our place. Like, it's like it seems kind of too obvious to just point that out, but I feel
Mhm.
like maybe that's part of it. It's like people just kind of take that and they're like, "Oh, cool." Like, but if you actually look at the lyrics, it's basically satanic. Like, that's basically
Yeah.
what Satan's goal is. If I could, I'd make a deal with God and swap it, because Satan wants to be the most high.
Oh,
That's the whole thing.
that's creepy. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about it like that. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Well, yeah, maybe most
Oh,
people aren't even
that's
thinking about it like
strange.
that.
That's so fitting for a place like TikTok too.
Exactly.
That kind of
Exactly.
idea.
Because they
So I
do.
always took it as like your significant other got blasted in the chest and you're like, no, I want to die for you. But thinking about it outside of the context that TikTok uses it and more of Jesus colored glasses, I can definitely see what you're talking about.
Huh, what? Wait, so what is the I'd take a bullet for? Is that
No, I mean like, all right, so I just meant that when I usually hear the lyrics, I usually think of it as more of um like a person whose like best friend or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever uh gets, irreparably hurt, and it's more of like a I would rather die than you die type thing.
Oh, yeah, I see. If I could, I'd make a deal with God and I'd get him to swap our places. Like,
Yeah.
not places with God, but places with the person that got hurt that they love.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Well, that actually kind of disproves me in a way. Well, maybe the way I
I
was
still like
reading.
the representation though of what you
Yeah,
were talking about. I still think that's pretty accurate in a sense of TikTok because TikTok is pretty
right. Really
demonically
self-centered.
inclined. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's just part of the ambiguousness of it, is that you can see it both ways. So it's not like, like
Yeah.
it does.
Obvious.
Yeah, exactly. It's more hidden. But yeah.
More
No,
snaky.
that's a good point though too, because I didn't see it that way before either. So we both showed each other different ways to see it, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's see.
The
Well,
benefits of conversation.
yeah, exactly. The dialogos. Yep. Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
let's. Have you heard of that term? It's or wait, we talked about that
yeah, I think we
before.
talked
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The Greek word for dialogue. But anyways, so there was Neuralink. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I saw a little bit of that. I've tried not to look into it because I'm terrified to look into it, and
Yeah.
I just don't know if I even want to know how disturbingly far it's gone.
Right. But it's, oh man, there's something kind of interesting though when you do look into it and you do see how far it's gone. You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, even though
Yeah,
it is really scary.
I saw a thumbnail of of it being like Neuralink is already here, and it's like a little chip attached to like a animal's head or something.
Oh no,
And
it was. I think it's, or well, it might have been in animals. Or no, yeah, yeah, it was a monkey. He had a video of a
oh, of
monkey
course it was a
using it.
monkey. No,
Yeah,
that's terrifying. I don't want to
yeah,
think about that.
dude.
I can't, I honestly I find it really weird that Elon would push for a Neuralink after
After
all the
like,
warnings about like AI.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
mean, it's basically on the same level of riskiness.
yeah, it is a weird kind of position that Elon Musk is in, where he's kind of like he's he sees it like I don't think he sees it the same way that maybe like me or you see it, where it's like um I think he sees it as like not as like we need to slow down, like this is too dangerous, but more seeing it as like an arms race of like I need to make sure I'm the one who's doing this technology so that the bad guys don't do it.
Yeah.
Or it's like that's kind
Like
of a scary position to
that's
be
a
in, because you could easily see that as like kind of like an antichrist type
yeah,
figure, where it's like,
exactly. Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna be the one. But
It's kind of it's kind of risky in the same way that socialism is.
oh yeah, 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 in the same way, yeah, where it's
It's like
all
it's
about
not going to
who's
be
in
bad if
charge.
I do it.
Exactly. It's I heard a great saying the other day on a podcast. It was the best leaders are the people who don't want to be leaders. Those are the people who would make the best leaders. Because that like like someone who's so humble, who's like, oh, like I don't think I could be in charge. I don't think like that's the kind of person you want as a leader, because
Yeah.
or at least
Because they don't even want that power to begin with. So
exactly the
the
people who
chances
do
that they're
want
going
that
to
power.
abuse it is
Exactly.
way
Yeah.
less likely.
Yeah, yeah. Because the people who are like, I want to become the leader are like, they have some kind of motivation, like
Yeah.
it's some kind of self-interest, like, but someone who's like just kind of a common folk, just trying to be a good person, doesn't really want to be in charge of everything. It would actually probably be good for someone like that to be in
Like
charge.
Alexander the Great.
Yeah, yeah, exact perfect example.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's a reason he was so great.
Yeah, that's why he was called. Yeah. I actually haven't really looked that much into it, Alexander the Great, but
He was I've what little I know about him, he was a pretty all right dude.
hell
He
yeah.
he did his job as a leader.
Yeah. Was he like more like, was it like medieval times, like Middle Ages?
I think it was even before that.
Ah, even more interesting. The further back you go, the
The former
more,
king of Macedonia? I can't remember how to say that.
huh?
Macedonia, yeah, Macedonia. He was the Macedonian king. He conquered the Eastern Mediterranean, Egypt, the Middle East, and parts of Asia in a remarkably short period of time.
Oh, dang. So he was a conqueror.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it says he also ushered in really significant cultural changes in the lands that he
Conquer.
conquered. Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Huh.
Oh, it was before Christ. It was 300 it was 356 before Christ.
Oh, so this was like the like
It was like
the
300
Romans?
years
Was he
before.
was he in the like was he Roman? Was that Alexander the Great?
I think he was like the sort of after of Romans. Or like
Okay.
well right before. Well, no. I guess he would have been Roman. I think.
Huh. Because I know that that was the whole
I don't know, was Macedonia part of Rome?
Macedonia. Huh. Maybe
Yeah.
look that up if you
That's
can.
where he came from. He was
Macedonia.
king of Macedonia. Okay, it was in Greece. So I guess he was
Ah, yeah.
Greek.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
He
we're
was
on board.
Greek, and
Yeah.
then after him, the Romans took over, and then like
Okay.
200 years later, Jesus was born and all that
then all that changed. Yeah, then
unbelievably insane change happened. Yeah.
yeah, man, it's super interesting. Yeah, that's such a like just interesting time in history. That whole just like transformation. Yeah, and that's also what's really good about the Chosen. The Chosen kind of goes into that with like this character Nero or whatever. He's like represents like a Greek, or I mean a Roman like chief or something that is making all the collecting all the taxes from the Jews and whatnot. And yeah, now it's a really good show though. But
There's
yeah.
also news of a teachers union in Minnesota, I think, that is quote unquote extremely proud about an agreement to lay off white teachers first.
Oh my gosh,
And
bro.
they said it's a non-story. Like, how
Oh
is that
my.
not a story? How is it
How
not a
is that
story that
not a
you're
story?
racially discriminating against your staff and you're extremely proud about it? What?
Man,
What? That's
serious.
insane. That's insane.
It's because they're completely ideologically possessed. Because they have, like, you could totally see it too with like critical race theory and
Yeah.
like
Bro,
the
oh,
way they
critical
see
race
it.
theory. Oh my.
Yeah, the way they're interpreting is that as we're leveling out the playing field, like we're making
Yeah.
things fair. This is how we're
When
gonna make
really they're
things
just supporting
fair.
supremacy.
Yeah, it's like
So disgusting.
ah, it's just
It's horrible.
yeah,
It's horrible.
and it's gonna collapse in on itself. Like we just gotta sit back and watch
Yeah,
it
as soon
happen, I
as
guess.
I guess the biggest problem is that this country is just so fucking wealthy that it just allows us to keep living and rolling around in this
Oh yeah,
shit pile of nonsense.
yeah. It's such a great country in a way. Like it's such a
Yeah, exactly.
it's taken
It's
care of its
become
people
too
so
great
well. Yeah,
that
yeah,
we've become desperate for any excuse to feel oppressed.
man.
Like at this point, I feel like the reason so many white people agree with all this nonsense is because it makes them feel better about not being victims of something.
Yeah, yeah. They feel like they're like they actually have a position where but it's so racist though. It's so
Yeah,
like
it's
actually
horrible.
and it's so like it's an inverted it's racist in an
It's
inverted
not,
way
yeah, and it's
where
not,
it's
it's
like
the thing is
best.
it's not even just bad for white people, it's also bad for Asians
Oh yeah, yeah.
because who absolutely do not deserve it because like they're the most well put together race currently in the country,
Right. Yeah, they really
along with Indians.
oh yeah.
They just have such strong familial structures
Yeah.
and like really solid beliefs and honor and
Tradition.
dignity,
Yeah.
self-respect. They're not fucking running around selling themselves on OnlyFans.
Yeah. Yeah, there is definitely like a sense of they're deeply connected to their traditions and there's a
Yeah,
sense
yeah,
of sacredness and a sense of like there are things that should be kept more hidden and more private and things that
yeah.
like like with I mean I don't know it's
They know
something
how
that
to
America
build a family
yeah and it's
and
something
then
that's
make the
something
children of of that family successful.
yeah oh yeah they definitely know how to do that that's for sure but
Considerably better
and
than
you could say the way they do it is a little like
it can
I
be a little
mean
brutal, definitely.
yeah yeah for sure but yeah it the thing
It's like
is
the
that it
extreme
works
side of like it's like if you took it's like the opposite of suburban dad,
huh
where
like
the suburban dad stereotype is kind of like too soft on the kids.
yeah yeah I see yeah and just kind of like Homer Simpson just kind of like
Yeah, just
watches
like
football and drinks beer
dumbass does nothing. Yeah.
yeah exactly yeah yeah it is the opposite where it's like it's the tiger mom or something like
Yeah.
or
where the mom starts has to take on like a masculine role,
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and the
which is another problem
that
with
does.
single motherhood
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
why single mother homes tend to have such horrific assault, not results on their children.
yeah, yeah,
Like ways like super increased chance of suicide, homelessness, uh, drug addiction.
yeah,
Because
yeah. It's
at the end of the day,
there's
they are
not.
not masculine. They're
Yeah,
not masculine. They can't take on that role in its
and it's
full
like
meaning.
yeah, because part of its full meaning is
Man,
yeah, it's
it's men.
yeah,
It's
it's something that really is. It's so
the
in
reason
some
tradition was
ways,
built as it was because that's the way nature works.
yeah, that it's like the women provide the space or like the potential for things to be, and then
Yeah,
men kind of come in and
mold
establish
it.
what is and take action and
That's why
and
men tend to be more in the direction of creativity and creation and
yeah, exactly, building things
building
like
things. Yeah,
yeah,
carpentry,
yeah,
construction, working
and
on sewer pipelines for Christ's sake.
yeah, oh yeah, dude, that like the world we live in with all its comforts and luxuries like wouldn't be what it is without
It's
those
built on the
guys.
back of men. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
yep,
it's so crazy to me that and I think the problem is that women take that as an insult.
right,
Like
yeah,
but it's not an insult because they definitely were a part of it. We built the houses, but they built the home, you know?
exactly, that's a perfect point. Yeah, we built the house but they built the home. There's a
Or they made it a
distinction.
home, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really sad that women think it's
That that's a
empowering.
bad thing. How's
Yeah,
that a
and
bad thing?
they think the empowering, they think it's only empowering to be like, oh, look at this strong woman building a
Yeah,
house, like
yeah. Yeah,
construction
exactly.
women. They
Look at me
see
doing
that
manly things.
exactly. So it's like their view is actually over masculinized. They think
Yeah.
the only
They think
thing that
being a
makes
man will
women, yeah,
make them
they,
attractive.
yeah, or just, or I think it has to do with meaning too. I think it has
Yeah,
to do with like that's how you find meaning in life
yeah.
is by doing the taking on these masculine roles. It's like
I
we've
guess
really
the
forgotten the
image
feminine.
of the housewife kind of has been destroyed.
Yeah,
Like it has been kind of really villainized
yeah,
and
yeah.
just turned into this like evil, oppressive,
Right.
horrible role that's just to enslave women and blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah, and
When it's so much more meaningful than that.
I know if we could somehow just like remember. I mean, I don't know exactly how it's always been. I mean,
Yeah,
I know there's been times where it's been like, or just, situations, not maybe like on a linear time scale, but just in like
yeah,
different places and different situations. There's women that are definitely oppressed by men, like just in their
yeah,
personal lives, like just terrible guys that abuse their wives and just like,
yeah. I
yeah,
wouldn't even really consider that oppression. It's
well,
more
it's
just
not oppression on a
humans
grand
doing kind
scale.
of shitty human things.
Yeah. Well,
But
the way I see
I
it is
guess I could see it as like a
oppression. I
fear
see it
thing.
as oppression on a small scale. Like it's not
Yeah,
oppression on like the system is oppressing the women.
more like
It's in
individual
one
cases.
little individual case where it's happening. Yeah.
Uh,
And it is real. Like, and we should
Definitely.
recognize the reality of it too, because
I
like,
think we have.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think we've been recognizing it.
Well, maybe part of the
I think we've
problem
been
in like the
recognizing it too
50s.
much.
Yeah, yeah. But let's try to take it back where in the 50s, maybe that was a time where it wasn't recognized enough. And
Yeah.
so now we're overcompensating. Like now we're recognizing it too
Yeah, okay.
much.
Yeah.
So now maybe that just has to balance out. And
Yeah, it's we always end up on one side of the
Yeah.
extreme.
It's like a
It's so hard to
wave,
get it
right?
in the middle. Yeah.
I know. Reality is like a wave that like it
It's
once the
just a
wave crashes in
tsunami.
another direction, it instantly goes in the other direction. Like you can't just get it to
Classic kind
go
of
in one
pendulum
direction.
action.
Yeah, you can't get it to go in one direction like constantly. If you swing it in one direction, it's going to swing just as hard in the other direction. It's
It's
yeah,
absurd. It's absurd.
but
And that's why
we gotta
that's
learn
why
how to
Jesus
ride the
is
wave.
that's why
Like
Jesus is so amazing because he's like the calm waters in the middle.
yeah, he's like he's like the man
He is the balance.
who's able to walk on the water. He like
Oh, that's so
yeah,
crazy. I didn't
yeah,
even think about that. That's insane.
yeah,
And Moses parted the Red Sea.
yeah. There's
It
so
really,
much.
oh, that's so crazy.
There's so
That's
much
so
super like profound imagery in the Bible of water and sky and land and separation, and it all just like makes so much sense because you could tell the people that wrote it were
yeah,
way more connected to those patterns. They were connected
yeah.
to the pattern of
They were really
sunrises in the morning.
enveloped in nature.
Yeah, it was like there's the ground and then there's the sky, and the sky or the sun rises out of the ground and then goes up and then goes back into the earth, and then the moon comes out, and that like they were just connected to these patterns in a way that like they were able to draw better like connections. I genuinely
Yeah.
think like they understood the world better than us. Like I really think that that's kind of
Things have
probably
become
really
so re-chaotic. There's
yeah,
a lot of
but
seams being unsewn.
yeah. And also, well, at the same time, like while it is chaotic, it's at the same time buckling down, like in a way.
Yeah.
Like I feel like extremes attract each other, like in the sense of like if you have like you can't have, or like extremes can only exist together in a way. So let's take like a punk rocker rebel type person, for example. Like that person can only exist in like a like overpowering kind of structure that has the walls and the boundaries that allow someone like that to exist. Like a punk rocker rebel type guy couldn't exist in the forest, like in the wild, like
Oh yeah.
where there's no structure that's making them want to rebel because you can't rebel
Yeah.
against nature. Like,
Yeah, true.
it's like, but yeah, and that shows
I see
how
what you mean.
yeah, there's like the extreme, like I don't know, like the two extremes exist at the same time. And
Like the extreme nature guy that built your fucking house supports your ability to be the
to be
dumb,
comfortable, to
nihilistic
be, yeah, yeah, exactly. That's,
sort
yep,
of, you know, oh, I'm a victim, I'm a victim.
yep, yep. You can
I am
only
ghost,
exist as
ghost
that
man, ghost
person.
self.
Yeah. it's, and so it's, when you realize that, it's kind of hard to see, like, I don't know, like, what's the solution to that? Like, like the fact that two
We the normal
extremes,
people, the average in the middle people have to just beat the living, figuratively beat the living crap out of the extremes into silence and then create the middle ground from them.
mm,
I think it's sort of like that chart of like average and the average intelligence chart between men and women.
oh, I
It's
haven't
just
seen,
like it's just like a bell curve on a graph.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
and
okay.
the people on the sides are the extremes, and the people in the middle are all the sort of just average,
Oh, yeah, I see.
normal,
Yeah.
not
Yeah, I
psycho
know.
people. And we
Yeah.
have to sort of filter all the crazy extremists into one cohesive middle ground thing. And it's like with abortion where the middle ground is essentially abortion is only legal for cases of like rape and incest.
Oh
That's
yeah.
like really the only realistic middle ground.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. Just like try like an extreme middle ground, if you
Yeah.
could. Huh. I get well, I guess I don't know. Maybe, but it just
I still
yeah,
don't think abortion is okay, but
yeah. Yeah,
in
and
the sense that of finding a place where everyone can just be happy and shut the fuck up.
right. Right. Well, I don't know. I guess is that the goal though?
No, not really. The more I think about it, because I was just thinking about earlier how the reason abortion isn't healthcare is because healthcare insinuates that you're healing
Care.
something
Yeah,
and that you're
caring
caring, yeah, that you're
about
caring for
something.
someone. And killing something because you don't want to deal with the consequences of it is not healing. You're not
Yeah.
caring. You're not doing your fucking job.
Yeah. There's nothing about it that's healing. The only way that you could interpret it as a healing is if you interpret the baby as some kind of like literally like a
A
parasite,
parasite, yeah. A
like a
clump of
predator. It's
cells.
like a predator. You have to see it as a predator that's harming the woman, and then you kill the evil leech, and then
Yeah.
yay, like we won. That's the only way you can interpret it that way. But uh,
And
you could only
that's the
do
way
that if
most
you
people do nowadays because they're so nihilistic and all they give a shit about is, themselves and their follower count and how many people are
yep,
subscribing to their fucking OnlyFans.
yeah. It's like if yeah, when that's all you care about, then something like that probably just looks like another little win, another little like
Yeah.
ooh, like
Honestly, I feel like 90% of the problems we're having today are actually stemming from the female community.
hmm,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. I know that's controversial to say, but bro, I'm telling you.
Well, that's
Like
what we do on this podcast.
first it was the
Controversial.
idea that feminism was about equality and but in reality it was about one, destroying the family home and two, getting women to go to work so that they can be taxed.
Huh.
Because when women were just staying at home, that's 50% of the population not paying taxes,
Oh, I see what you're
which is
saying.
way less,
Way
pockets getting
less money
lined.
going to the government.
Yeah. People
Wow.
like fucking old man child toucher Biden,
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, etc.
Let's see. So yeah, I'll just say exactly what I just said. That was a great podcast.
Went perfectly except for that split second ending.
Yep. Sorry, guys, in advance, just about the abrupt ending. I
Yeah.
know it ended right when it started getting good, but but
That's all right. We'll continue it next time.
yeah, for sure.
Give you
But
something to cling on to for the
yeah,
end.
to let kind of muster in your brain and just
Yeah.
yeah,
Work out all the absolutely insane things we've said.
yep.